Hi, and welcome to Love is Crafting.
Love is crafting.
I'm Tila.
And I'm Stanton.
If you're new to our channel, thanks for checking us out. And if you're returning, thanks for the support.
What we do on this channel is we take you through crafting and DIY projects that are real, but not necessarily perfect, because
love isn't perfect. We have a goal to reach 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year, but we need your help.
Would you consider subscribing to our channel? We post new videos every Saturday.
And in today's video, we will be trying out a new epoxy by KS Resin.
Now this is still KS Resin's Liquidy split, but this is their Ultra UV epoxy.
We're gonna see if using a UV light makes a difference or not.
Make sure you put your predictions down below.
And while you're there, make sure you like,
comment,
and subscribe.
Love is crafting.
Love is crafting. Okay, so we are gonna give KS Resin's Liquidy Split Ultra UV Epoxy a try. We've taken it out of the box and this is how it comes. And it is 2 parts and it does have on a silver thing. So just get a knife and kind of cut around it and get the silver part off. And I do have the nozzles from the regular, the last time we ordered Liquidy Split. So I'm just gonna use, oh, I thought I could use the same ones, but I can't. It looks like they are different size bottles, so they don't fit. Got it. So whenever you're ordering, make sure you pay the extra $5 for the spouts. It does make it a lot easier. And I thought I could save some money because I already bought them, but apparently these are different bottles.
Do you know if they sell the spouts by themselves?
They do. They're $5, but then you have to pay for shipping and everything like that. So, yeah, it's fine. We will make it work. So, it does have the 2 different parts, the hardener and the resin. So this is part A and this is part B. What we're going to do is we're going to mix up a batch. I'm going to use about 20 mLs. I could use 15, but I don't know how this epoxy is going to work, so I rather go too much than not enough. So I am going to start by pouring this. And I do have these disposable little containers that are marked, and it makes it much, much, much easier. You guys been with us for a while, you'll know that I like to pour part B first and then put in part A. All right, so I did get this all mixed or poured, and so now we're gonna mix it up. Got our little stir, AKA a popsicle stick. And right off the bat, the part B isn't as thick as part B's normally are, and it poured rather quickly. And when I'm stirring, it's not as thick as just the regular KS resin, so that's interesting. On this cup, we are not going to be using a UV light. We are going to just be using it on its own, and we'll come back and check it probably once an hour just to see how quickly it's gonna dry. So the actual product says that it is dry to the touch in 3 to 4 hours. So we will actually check it at 2, 3, and 4 hours.
Do you think they're saying that with the UV light or without the UV light?
I think it's without the UV light because it specifically says that you do not need a UV light for this to set. So maybe with the UV light, it'll set even quicker. So I think I gave it a good go. And now I'm going to pour it onto our cup. Now, if you're curious about this cup and how we did this design, this is the Dawn's Powerwash method, and we did a video on how we did this technique on a different cup, but we can go ahead and link that as well. So this one is super thin and way easy to apply and spread out. And with that being said, I don't even think I'm gonna need a lot at all. I think I made way too much.
Well, I think if it's easy to spread, then the layer isn't gonna be as thick, so you need to.
I don't know, we might be okay with just one layer. I'm not convinced that we're gonna need more than one, so we'll see. Okay, so as I'm looking at this and just making sure that my cup is completely covered, I'm not seeing a whole lot of bubbles. So that's really good. You don't want a lot of bubbles.
Usually you get rid of that with alcohol or a heat gun, but it looks like in this process you won't need either one.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna need it. Okay, I'm gonna add some more epoxy to the big decal because I feel like it might not be covered just as well. I'm still feeling it quite a lot through my glove, so I just want to make sure that that has a lot of coverage, so that it just is better. You don't want to be able to feel the decal.
And you know what's crazy is this other decal is a water slide decal. It almost looks like we painted over the water slide, but it was the opposite. We put the water slide on after the paint, but the blending of it just worked so well with it.
Okay, so we will come back in an hour and see how it's doing. No, we'll come back in 2 hours, right? So this is supposed to be fully cured in 3 to 4 hours. So it says that you can recoat in 2 hours. So let's see how it's doing with no UV light in 2 hours. All right, we're back. It has been about 2 hours and the cup is still turning. When you touch it, it does feel dry, but if you were to press down on here all the way, what would happen is you would probably get some fingerprints on here. So I would let it spin for a little bit longer. I don't think it's completely dry to the touch just yet. But it looks really good. I'm not seeing any bubbles or any major things that are wrong with it, so I'm happy. Stay tuned and we will see what it looks like in another 2 hours. Okay, so we are back and this may look like the same cup, but it's not. This one does not have any epoxy on it. So we are going to mix up the KS Resin Liquidy Split UV, Ultra UV, and we are going to put a UV light on it and see if it dries quicker than without it.
You see, we found tops that actually fit on top of him and didn't have to pay $5 plus shipping.
Yep. Okay, so I think the cup is covered pretty well. So I'm going to touch it again. And then I'm going to actually put the UV light in front of this turner. So we will see how it...
I think you need as much space between a UV light and the cup as possible so it hits more of the surface area of the cup.
Okay. There it goes.
Straighten it.
Straighten what?
The light.
No, it's not gonna straighten.
How long do you think it's gonna take to cure now?
I'm not sure. Let's check back in an hour.
All right.
See what happens.
Let's see.
Okay, so it's been about 25 minutes and we're actually gonna come over here and just test it, and it is still wet. So it didn't dry it in a matter of minutes, and yeah, so we're gonna let it keep on drying, keep on spinning. Okay, so we are back and it's been 2 hours on the turner in front of the UV light, and it's not sticky.
Are you leaving any fingerprints?
No, I don't think so. But I didn't. Oh, so if you press down hard on it, it leaves fingerprints. But if you touch it soft, it doesn't.
Touching pain.
So it still needs to go. So I'm assuming it will be ready to go in 2 more hours.
Wait, how long did the first one take?
4 hours? Yep, it cured. I think we checked it in 4 hours. We'll have to go back and take a look. We'll come back with the amount of time and all that stuff.
Okay. All right, looking forward to it.
All right, so we are back and this has been spinning for 4 hours. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna stop it and I am going to touch right up here and see if I get any fingerprints on it. Okay, so if I press down really hard, I'm getting some fingerprints at the top.
It's the same thing that happened at 2 hours, right?
Yes, but I had to press harder. I had to push down harder, if that makes sense.
Right now or at 2 hours?
Right now. I had to press down harder to get fingerprints. But I did it at the top, but the light is like really focusing on the middle, so let's try there. And I don't have any fingerprints. Well, maybe I do, I don't know. So it doesn't look like I'm getting any fingerprints like I am at the top that I can see. So let's try it here so you guys can see. Yeah, I'm not getting any fingerprint. But up here, I felt like I was. You see it? Yeah, I was getting it up there. So I guess the middle is good. But I'm just going to leave it here and let it dry because I don't need to move it. So it will probably sit here until tomorrow, and then I will wash it and put the lid on it. So that is it. We're gonna compare the 2 cups and see if there's any differences.
Okay, we are back with the results of the KS Resin UV Epoxy.
Yeah. So this is the first cup that we did with the UV Epoxy where we used no UV light.
Yeah. And this one, we did the same UV Ultra KS Resin, but used the UV light. What do you think?
So if you are having a hard time telling the difference between them or the coating, so are we. So they came out pretty, actually very, very similar. I don't see any differences between the two coats of epoxy and the two cups.
And the thing is, you would imagine that using a UV light would have made it cure and set quicker. It didn't. It's the same time for both of these cups, so I don't even know why you would use a UV light.
Yeah, so the packaging did not say that it would dry quicker using a UV light or anything. That's just something that we wanted to try to see if it made a difference. But I think the determining factor with using UV resin is if you do something other than tumblers, because what it says is that over time there's no yellowing effects to the epoxy, which I'm assuming is something that is used when you do a lot of pouring epoxy.
Yeah, I imagine if you do, the big thing that's happening now is building these tables and using resin to kind of set it. If you're doing a project like that, then yeah, the UV resin might make sense because you want to make sure that it sets and stays clear.
But for just using it for tumblers, I say save the difference in the cash and just go with the regular epoxy.
Unless you're doing a white tumbler, because then it'll show up.
Yeah. So yeah, that's a possibility. So weigh your options.
All right, remember, love is crafting.
Love is crafting.